Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first Sovereign Systems Institute Ministry Wednesday. Before we begin, I want to be crystal clear about what this is and what this isn't. This is ministry, not coaching. I'm David Atkinson, a steward of the Resiliency Code. I'm not a guru, teacher, or therapist. I'm a builder of life systems. You're here as fellows building capacity, not clients seeking rescue. A quick reminder, this session is being recorded for our ministry archive and may be shared on Sovran Signal, our YouTube channel. If you prefer not to be on camera, feel free to turn it off. Everyone's here by choice. Now, let me tell you who's not in the right place tonight. You're not in the right place if you're here to be saved, rescued, or fixed. If you're looking for someone else to blame. If you want to complain about systems without building alternatives. If you're making decisions consistently from fast emotional influence. If you're here to consume information without doing the work. If you're looking for the quick fix to problems. If you want to avoid personal responsibility and honest discussion. If any of that describes why you're here, this isn't the right container for you. But you are in the right place if you're here to be a co-creator, working with the power of creation to build the greatest possible capacity across all areas of your life. If you're navigating a major transition, if you want to stop the extraction cycles draining you all the time, if you can't ignore things now you see clearly, if you want to build things that last beyond ourselves in collaboration with others, if you're ready for authentic, real conversations about how to get high-value work done for ourselves and others, if you want to transfer value to the next generation and leave it better than you found it, if that's why you're here, welcome. You're exactly where you need to be. This inaugural session is being recorded for the historical record. It's foundation setting for all future fellows. Tonight is pure teaching, establishing the container and the operating system we'll be working with every Wednesday night going forward. Before we begin, let's recognize what we're doing here. We gather as sovereign beings under the lawful design of life, encoded within each of us. In this sacred space of the Sovereign Systems Institute, we pause to recognize our jurisdiction, our capacity, and our contract with the natural order. May our words and decisions align with the Resiliency Code and generate sovereign wealth for ourselves and all who will follow the resilient path. I'd like to start this inaugural ministry with a story, a true story. There's a guy in coastal Georgia, tall as a lighthouse, built by 30 years at sea, who spent the last decade taking wave after wave. Like a ship in a storm, you ride one out, catch your breath, here comes the next one. Each one teaching you something about navigation you can't learn in calm water. Instead of going under, he built a navigation system. The kind of navigation that doesn't fight the storm, but moves with it. Finding the eye where there's clarity, even when wind and waves around you are trying to tear everything apart. The demolition phase. His marriage ends after years in court. Not the kind of divorce where people shake hands and wish each other well. The messy kind. The expensive kind. The kind that extracts everything. Gets remarried. Things are looking up. Then, catastrophic truck wreck. The kind where you're grateful to be alive, but your body reminds you daily that steel and flesh don't negotiate. Then, he's working on his property, and a 70-foot tree decides today's the day. Nearly crushes him. Missed death by that much. 2013. Constant, intense ringing happens overnight in his ear. Something's wrong. Doctors find a golf ball-sized tumor on his brainstem. Not the let's watch it kind, the we need to operate immediately kind. Surgery's successful, but here's the thing about brainstem surgery. Your body just doesn't bounce back right away. He spent the next 6 months with 24/7 vertigo. Imagine being on a boat in a storm with 10-foot waves for 6 straight months, awake every single day. Left hearing gone permanently. 9 months of initial recovery, 3 years to get back to 99% functional capacity. His father passes suddenly in 2017. He doesn't just grieve, he steps in, operates the family business, settles the estate, takes care of his mom, who turned 80 this year. Then leaves his entire IT career, 30 years of enterprise technology architecture, to care for her full-time and pursue a divine inspiration. And then he realizes nobody's building the architecture to make self-interest and consideration visible without condemnation. Nobody's creating the system that works with human nature instead of pretending humans should be something they're not. The build begins. So he does what he always does when something doesn't exist. He builds it. He partners with Nicole Connor. They create the resiliency code, not another self-help framework to consume, an actual operating system for improving human capacity. David lived this. Brain tumor equals physical field extraction. Vertigo equals emotional field chaos. Career pivot equals vocational field rebuild. Father's death equals connection field under load. The resiliency code is what he built to navigate all of it without sinking. Pause, prepare, participate. Not just concepts, actual navigation through the storm. Pause. Find the I, that place of clarity when everything's chaos. See what's actually happening without the story you're telling yourself about it. Prepare. Build structural positioning. Physical, mental, spiritual. Know what's yours to govern and what's not. Make what's invisible visible before crisis forces it out in the open and things fall apart. Participate. Engage from clarity, not reaction. Navigate with the forces, not against them. Here's what he discovered. There are 9 connected fields where capacity either expands or gets extracted, and I'm talking about human capacity. Most people are hemorrhaging in 3 to 4 of those fields simultaneously and can't figure out why life feels like they're drowning. These fields are interconnected. They reinforce or weaken the system as a whole. Let me walk you through each one. Field 1, physical, the foundation. Your body is the first structure. It determines what you can hold, literally, what you can build, and what you can sustain. If your health is compromised, if nourishment, movement, stamina, and vitality are depleted, your capacity weakens in every other field. I lived this. Brain tumor on the brainstem, 6 months of 24/7 vertigo, permanent hearing loss in one ear, physical field extraction cascades everywhere, When your body is under that kind of load, your emotional regulation suffers, your intellectual clarity gets compromised, your creative capacity tanks, your connections strain, your vocation struggles or disappears, your environment feels hostile, your resources drain, your faith gets tested. Everything starts with the physical field. This is why next week we're going to do a deeper dive on this one specifically. Field 2, emotional, nervous system stability. Emotional regulation is not about suppressing feelings. It's about ensuring your nervous system is stable enough to engage with clarity. Without this, decisions are reactive. You've all sent that email before that you know you shouldn't have sent. Relationships are volatile. Alignment is impossible. Resiliency requires a regulated emotional foundation, one that holds steady rather than collapses under pressure. When I spent 6 months with constant vertigo, my nervous system was under assault every single day. Imagine trying to make clear decisions when your body is telling you you're falling 24 hours a day. A life experience which you can relate to if you haven't experienced vertigo would be being the most intoxicated or inebriated you've ever been in your life 24 hours a day for 6 months. This field had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Field 3, intellectual, cognitive autonomy. Cognitive autonomy ensures that you operate from clarity, not conditioning. What do you think social media is designed to do? It's designed to extract your cognitive autonomy so that it can train you to do certain things automatically without you even thinking about it. If your thoughts are dictated by external influence, your decisions will never be your own. Resiliency requires intellectual sovereignty, the ability to think clearly, critically, and independently. This doesn't mean you ignore input from others. It means you process that input through your system, not theirs. When everyone around me was saying, slow down, take it easy, you almost died, they were right to care. I had to have the intellectual clarity to know, no, I need to build through this, not retreat from it. That's cognitive autonomy. Field 4, creative, the engine of expansion. Resilience is not just about sustaining, it's about generating. Creative energy fuels innovation, problem solving, and transformation. It's the ability to move beyond limitation, to imagine and build what does not yet exist. Without this, stagnation sets in and the structure becomes brittle. The resiliency code didn't exist. SSI didn't exist. The grounds don't exist yet. All of it required creative capacity to see what's not there and build it anyway. If I'd just tried to sustain what existed before the brain tumor, I'd be stuck. The creative field is what allows expansion. Field 5, connection, right relationship. Every relationship, self, others, nature, culture, either reinforces or erodes your foundation. Connection is not about proximity. It's about right relationship. The wrong connections drain and destabilize. The right ones reinforce and sustain. If you're old enough, you know exactly what these relationships feel like. Resiliency ensures that every connection supports structural integrity rather than weakening it. I had to completely rebuild my connection field after the divorce. Then, after my father's death. Then, figuring out how to maintain connections while dealing with permanent hearing loss. You learn real fast which relationships are extracting and which are expanding. Field 6, Vocation, regenerative work. How you sustain yourself matters. If your vocation extracts more than it returns, it's a structural weakness. If your work depletes you, it's a drain on every other dimension of well-being. Resiliency requires a vocation that supports rather than consumes, a system that aligns to your gifts and natural talents rather than exploiting simply your physical and mental capacity. I left a 30-year IT career, not because it was bad, because it was extracting more than it could return given where my other fields were. The work I'm doing now, stewarding the resiliency code, building SSI, working with families and businesses, this expands my capacity instead of extracting it. That's the difference. Field 7, environment, the structure of space. Your external environment reflects your internal state. The spaces you engage, home, workspace, nature, either reinforce stability or breed misalignment. Resiliency ensures that your physical surroundings support the structure of your life rather than destabilizing it. This is why the grounds matter. We're not just building buildings. We're creating environments that reinforce capacity across all 9 fields. When a hurricane hits and you're in a structure designed to be the eye of the storm, literal calm, in the center of chaos, your environment is supporting your capacity, not extracting it. Field 8, resources, the channels of flow. Resources, people, tools, money, time are not static assets. They're structures that either support or collapse under pressure. The right order ensures flow without depletion. Misalignment leads to scarcity and stress. Resiliency demands a system where resources circulate with precision, ensuring sustainability rather than extraction. Most people treat resources like they're just things to manage. They're not. When money flows in a way that's aligned with your other fields, it expands capacity. When it's misaligned, it drains everything else. Same with time, same with tools, same with people. Field 9, faith, the anchor of meaning. Faith is not belief, it's structural orientation. It's what holds the system together at every level: personal, family, community, cultural. Purpose is what gives that structural meaning. Without a clear sense of purpose, even the most well-built structures lack longevity. Resiliency ensures that every action, every choice, and every engagement is anchored in meaning rather than being dictated by external pressure or internal confusion. When I was lying in a hospital bed after brain surgery, unable to hear out of one ear, with vertigo so severe I couldn't stand, faith wasn't some abstract concept. It was the anchor that kept me from going under. Not religious faith necessarily, structural faith, the conviction that there is a lawful design to life, and if I can align with it, I can navigate anything. That's what the faith field is. The Cascade Principle. Here's what you must understand about these 9 fields. Neglect one field, collapse spreads to all of them. Steward all fields, preserve everything. Every failure you've ever experienced traces back to these 9 fields. When you know this structure, you can assess exactly where integrity failed. You can rebuild with clarity. You fail fast and small. You iterate with expanded capacity. This is conscious mastery versus stumbling through collapse. Most people don't know why they're failing. They just know life feels hard. When you understand the 9 fields, you know exactly which field is leaking. You know exactly where extraction is happening, and you know exactly what structure needs building. That's the difference the resiliency code makes. So here's what happens next. Next Wednesday, we're going to do a deep dive on the physical field. Why start there? Because it's the foundation of everything else. Your body determines what you can hold. If your physical field is compromised, every other field struggles. This ministry isn't just about receiving information. It's about building capacity and greatly improving your quality of life. Between now and next Wednesday, here's your work. First, as we continue to explore the resiliency code and the 9 fields, you'll begin to understand why your physical field is the common denominator to your remaining 8 fields. Second, do one thing this week to improve your capacity in the physical field. Not 10 things, one thing. Make it small, make it sustainable, make it structural. I encourage you to do some research on vitamin D3 and the vitamin K2 and the vitamins associated with those that reinforce the structure in your physical field. Third, I'll post videos on the Sovereign Signal YouTube channel relevant to stabilizing and expanding your physical capacity. Watch them. We'll explore this field specifically next week. Fourth, next week I'll ask, what did you see? What small actions did you take to realign this field? This is pure capacity building. We are here to learn together. I'm further along the path with the resiliency code, but I'm still navigating my own 9 fields every single day. One more thing before we close. Your fellows, not clients. Your peer builders using the resiliency code architecture. Your contribution of capacity matters. Time, attention, shared experience, financial support for the mission. This is ministry. We're building something that's never been built before. Not another consumption hub, not another networking event, not another place to extract value. We're building capacity architecture that expands across generations. That requires all of us showing up with what we have to contribute. With that, I'm going to do our customary ministry closing. Having prepared through this fellowship, we return to participate from our individual sovereignty, carrying the coherence generated here into our respective fields, in service to the lawful design of life and the continuation of this work. Take care, everyone. See you next Wednesday.